Sorry, you want me to start over?
No.
No? Okay, they keep on telling me we're on the clock. We're on the clock. Okay, I'll call this meeting to order, and I'd like to ask Mr. Sullivan to come down and offer the invocation. I would like to introduce a special guest with us tonight, Cadet Maxie from Midwest City Junior ROTC. She will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. When she graduates from high school, she plans to go to college and join the United States Air Force. So welcome, Mr.
I ask you to bow with me, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this glorious day, fall day that we enjoyed today, Father. We just give you praise and honor for that. And we thank you for this great city that we serve and in this great state and this great free nation. We thank you so much for the freedoms we enjoy to assemble like we're doing tonight. Father, I'd ask you to lay your hands on this council and give them peace and discernment in their decisions tonight. Father, we thank you so much for their willingness to serve in this capacity and their sacrifice they make and their family as well. Thank you so much for men and women who are serving this great country all over the world. Give them peace and protection tonight. Father, most of all, we thank you for your son, Jesus. We thank you for the love that you have for us and by providing that sacrifice. Thank you, Jesus, for being willing to go. And we ask all these favors in your son's holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. You may now be seated.
She did a great job, didn't she? I told her I wouldn't embarrass her. Okay, we've got a couple of proclamations, and I'll read like Matt Dukes tonight, Rick. Where's the microphone? There we go.
I have not turned it on yet.
It works. Who's doing America Recycling Day? Oh, both of you. Glad you're here.
Good to see you.
All right. Whereas the United States generates 258 million tons of municipal solid waste each year, and whereas each year recycling keeps approximately 89 million tons of material out of the landfill and gives a useful second life. Whereas the celebration of America Recycles Day focuses the nation's attention on the importance of recycling in our communities, and whereas participating in America Recycles Day in 2024 is one way the citizens can help raise awareness of excellent recycling opportunities available to Midwest City residents and the benefits of reducing waste by using, recycling, and buying recycled content products. Therefore, I, Matt Dukes, Mayor of Midwest City, do hereby proclaim November 15th as America Recycles Day in Midwest City. Invite all citizens to join us in this special observance and keep plastic bags out of the recycle bin.
Absolutely.
Is it all right? All right. Who wants this one? Whoa. Who gets this one?
I'll take that one.
All right, you're Carrie, you're staying up here
I'm
for the
staying
next.
for the next one.
All right.
I kept them short, though, you know that.
I did notice that. Thank you. Whereas the National Municipal Stormwater Alliance was established November 16th as a National Stormwater Day to commemorate the establishment of the National Municipal Separate Stormwater System program, November 16th of 1990. Whereas a major source of pollutants in Oklahoma's waterways is polluted urban and suburban stormwater runoff that flows directly into our rivers, lakes, streams, and untreated. And whereas the goal of the MS4 program is to reduce the discharge of polluted stormwater runoff through the implementation of stormwater control measures, thus preventing damage to vital ecosystems, contamination of drinking water resources, and distribution of recreational activities. Whereas the City of Midwest City has a successful MS4 program since 2005, and whereas the National Stormwater Day not only recognizes the establishment of the MS4 program, but also celebrates and highlights the many efforts around the country to increase the awareness of stormwater, including here in Midwest City. Therefore, I, Matt Dukes, Mayor of Midwest City, do hereby proclaim November 16th as National Stormwater Day in Midwest City, and ask that all residents practice safe practices in discharge of water into our system.
Here you go.
Thank you. All right, thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
It was relatively painless. Now, Mr. Lyons, community announcements.
Thanks, Mayor. We'll start with December 2nd is our Walk the Lights program with holiday lights from 6 to 8 p.m. You can walk through the lights for $5 versus when we open it up December 3rd to drive through the lights. So that'll be our only opportunity to walk it. So 6 to 8, and there'll be festivities with that as well prior to, usually choir or choral groups and other things that go on. And then the holiday lights is December 3rd through the 25th this year. Next is a Martin Luther King prayer breakfast, be held on January 20th, 2025 at 7:30 a.m. at the Reed Center in Midwest City. This year's theme is Mission Impossible, Protecting Freedom, Justice, and Democracy in the Spirit of Nonviolence 365. Tickets will be on sale through Eventbrite and the Midwest City Community Center. Tickets are $30, and you can buy a table of 8 for $300, and there's sponsorships for $1,000, $1,500, and $2,500. More information, you can email Don Meisch at dmeisch@midwestcityok.org. Holiday hours for Midwest City, all city offices will be closed Thursday, November 28th, and Friday, November 29th. All trash and recycling services for Thanksgiving Day will be delivered on the preceding Wednesday, November 27th. Household hazardous waste facility will be closed on Friday, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. Compost facility will be closed Thursday, November 28th, and Saturday, November 30th. And then finally, a big shout out to our events and marketing staff, and with Josh Ryan and his people, with Susan and Heather, for a great Veterans Day parade. Very much enjoyed that. And also the chamber participated in helping with that as well, so. And with that, that's all the announcements I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lyon. Now we'll move into our consent agenda. These items are placed on consent agenda so that the council members, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any council member requests to discuss an item, or if there's not unanimous consent, then the item will be removed and heard in regular order. The chair would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve all items with the exception of item number 7 being pulled for discussion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. The motion is to approve all items except for item 7. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Item number 7, Mr. Lyon.
Discussion, consideration, possible action of Ward 3 appointee, Mr. Ronald Tate, and Mayor's appointee, Ms. Carrie Dieter, to the Citizens Advisory Committee on Housing and Community Development for the remainder of the 4-year terms that were vacated.
Honorable Mayor and Council, I'm staff for this committee. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I'm staff for the committee. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I would just like to make a motion and introduce my nominee.
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Tate? And I'm glad Ms. Cross is there because Ms. Kraft is there because I want you to meet her. I'll do the introductions. I just want to briefly, and I think it's important that we do this occasionally. Mr. Tate, at the age of 17, entered the United States Air Force as a helicopter mechanic. He earned his associate's degree in 1988 in air flight technology. He served his country. While serving his country, he flew over 1,000 combat hours in Desert Storm. He separated from active duty after 12 years at the rank of E6. Mr. Tate became employed at Tinker and served over 33 years in federal services. He's a father of 3 who raises children here in Midwest City. He's a small business owner and has worked as a private investor in real estate and other business ventures. He worked on contracts with the DOD while running his mechanic business in Ward 3. He is active in the community, enjoyed meeting and talking with others and visiting with other veterans. And I met him during my walk as I was running for this office, and I think we're friends now. He let me pester him constantly. So he has agreed to serve on the, what is this committee? Hold on. On the Citizen Advisory Committee of Housing and Community Development. And I'd like to thank you for agreeing to come before this board and hopefully get nominated to the committee.
Thank you. With that being said, Ms. Maxwell, I'll let you make the motion to approve.
Before we do, I just also want to acknowledge Mr. Tate. At 17 years old, you joined the service. That is incredible, and it gives inspiration to the younger generation. Thank you for your continued service and continuing with our city as well. It's a great nomination, Councilwoman. Thank you. Sorry, Mayor.
I make a nomination,
A motion.
Motion to approve.
a motion that we approve him to this.
Both of them.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell.
Thank you.
Now we'll move into the discussion items of our agenda. Item number 1, Mr. Lyon.
Okay. Discussion, consideration, and possible action of accepting a permanent easement from Kylie Chapman and Teresa Leopard located near 7113 Hilltop Court across portions of Lot 10 and Lot 11 of Block 2 of the Somerset Park Addition in Section 34 Township 12 North, Range 2 West of Midwest City.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon. This easement has been procured by Glen Haven Development. This was part of the contingent approval of their final plat. They helped us get this easement, which can be used for a future drainage project.
Any questions?
I have one question.
Yes.
The easement, I know, is specifically for a pipeline, an irrigation pipe, wastewater pipe. Can the same easement be used to put a sidewalk or walking trail along that same easement, should we ever need to connect that part of the community to a park?
No, they can only be used for storm. And part of the reason that we are so specific sometimes is if we make it general, AT&T and Cox and everybody else gets in there before we even get in there. On the Glen Haven development, there is on the north end a trail piece that will connect to the west to Air Depot. It kind of stops right there at the church in the background, but that's part of our trail master plan, is that connection. So we are trying to keep those neighborhoods connected, and Glen Haven helped us with that part. But yeah, this is only for storm sewer.
Thank you very much. This is much needed and good progress. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Any other questions? There, entertain a motion to approve. Have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Item number 2, Mr. Lyon.
Discussion, consideration, possible action of amendment number 4 for professional services with Freeze and Nichols, Inc. in the amount of $49,200 to provide services to further the assessment of the current sanitary sewer system. Mr. Bundy.
This item is kind of a cleanup from our east side sewer master plan. The Freeze and Nichols helped us a lot with different graphs and providing staff with information to help make those decisions between February and when we ultimately approved the plan. And so this is just kind of a cleanup change order to that contract.
Mr. Bundy, just one question. When do we expect, just tentatively, and I know we've asked this before, but any updates on when we should expect the entire city's report to be finalized as of now?
That's actually a question for Public Works, and I know they're working on it. They have to go through a dry weather and a wet weather. Specific questions, though, they will need to. It's not for lack of staffing or anything else.
Yeah.
They have to wait through a certain period of
No,
time.
I'm not suggesting that it's delayed. I knew it was gonna be a while, but I just wanted to continue putting that tentative date line so we know when to be hopeful.
July of 2025 is when we expect to see the preliminary report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Streets. If anyone else doesn't have any questions, move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Thank you.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Item number 3, Mr. Lyon.
Discussion, consideration, possible action of approving an ordinance amending Midwest City Municipal Code, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 9, Surplus Property, Section 2-130, bidding and providing for repealer and severability. Mr. Meisch.
Good evening. This is a request from Terry Kraft and our grants program to change 2 words in an ordinance from home ownership to housing. What this will do is the city does own several houses that are currently being used as rental properties. We're looking to dispose of them. We have some nonprofits who are interested in using this housing as transitional housing for, let's say, people who are domestic violence victims, to give them a chance to go someplace safe and then move on to permanent housing. If we currently leave the language as home ownership, we cannot use the housing that way. If we change it to housing, we are allowed to use it that way. This meets our federal requirement because some federal grant money was used, and the federal grant program uses the word housing. So we're looking to make this change to be able to assist the community in this way. Be happy to take any questions.
Unless
questions?
anyone has questions, I motion to approve.
I have a
Thank
motion
you.
and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Item number 4, Mr. Lyon.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action of approving an ordinance amending the Midwest City Code, Chapter 30, Parks and Rec, Article 4, Golf, Section 30-46, golf rates, and providing for repealer and severability. Mr. Rushing.
As you know, with the previous bond, we did some remodeling of the John Conrad Golf Course, and at that time, some new equipment was purchased. Rates were raised in February of '22, and this is a proposed rate increase for the golf rates. Most of the rates will go up $1. One will go up $2. The annual walking fee will go up $100, and the annual senior fee will go up $100. And the only other major change to this ordinance is that at the Hidden Creek, which is our lovely 9-hole golf course over here, we're doing away with the annual rate. We have found that the annual rate has caused some issues with a lot of our carts being tied up all day, which creates a hardship on other players coming to play. And so that is the recommendation before you.
These rates will be lower than Oklahoma City.
Correct, yeah. If you look at the chart on the second page of the agenda item, we are equal to Trosper for the regular green fee. Other than that, we're lower than every other rate at Trosper, Early Wine, Lincoln, and Kickingbird.
Let me ask you a question on that. So the funds that come in, the revenue that comes in on the golf course,
Yes.
is that strictly used to maintain a golf course?
Yes, ma'am.
So therefore, the funds coming in could not be used to, into the Parks and Recreation Department?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, gotcha.
No, it serves as its own enterprise fund.
Okay.
So they have to
And the
live-
goal is to have it be self-sufficient. So we anticipate in a few years, we're going to have about $900,000 worth of equipment that needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
And so by raising these rates, it allows us to store that money back to replace that equipment without having to go to the taxpayers for any more money.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Do you have an estimate on how much additional income this rate increase will generate?
I don't currently. What we try to do is we just try to incrementally raise them every few years. It will generate, I don't have the exact numbers for you, but we can get those. So.
Well, it's okay. How many golfers a year do we service?
So typically during peak season, anywhere from 100 to 200 per day. So that's during peak season. Obviously, very much weather dependent, right? If we get a heavy rainy season like we've had lately, people don't play. If we have too many cold snaps. Vaughn, do you know the exact number on average number of golfers we have go through the course?
I think it's around 35,000. It was at around 30, and it's gone up with the new golf course. So in the heydays, we were in the around 40, but that was without a lot of golf courses around us. But
So that's roughly $150 a day, additional income is what we're going to be socking back to buy extra equipment at the end.
It helps, and then with some of the annual fees going up, it'll add up over time, yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Any further questions? Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Item number 5, Mr. Lyon.
discussion, consideration, and possible action approving an ordinance amending the Midwest City Municipal Code, Chapter 31, Healthcare Facilities, Article 3, Massage, Division 1 in general, Sections 31-100, definitions 31-101, inspections authorized, Division 2, Massage Establishment License, Sections 31-111, application 31-113, facilities and equipment, 31-114, issuance, 31-115, and then the fee, Division 3, massage therapist license, under Sections 31-131, and application, 31-132, issuance standards, and again, another 31-133 fee, and then reserve Division 4 operating requirements, Section 31-147, operating hours, and providing for repealer and severability. Mr. Maish, I don't have to read
Well, as
that
you can
again.
tell, I'm not Lieutenant Henry, but I did work with Lieutenant Henry on these changes. What the police department and Lieutenant Henry did was take a look at our massage ordinances and compare them to what currently is in state statute, removing antiquated language that is in our ordinance that was not complying with state statute. Did a review of that, and she and the police department did a very good job. And what this does is it removes that antiquated language from our ordinances so that it meets state statutory requirements. This ordinance was brought before the Ordinance Review Committee. There was 2 requests made from the committee. One was to look at our fees to determine if our fees are comparable, because they had not been raised in a while, with other municipalities. I undertook that and found that our fees are in fact comparable to about 2 other communities that charge fees in this, Oklahoma City, and I don't remember what the other one was. I think it was Lawton. Our fees were comparable. The second request from the Ordinance Review Committee, which is why the fee section is in here, was to put an automatic CPI increase on the fees. And that was a request from the Ordinance Review Committee. That was added to this provisions that are here. That's why the 2 fee ordinances are in here. I'll be happy to take any questions.
I first want to say we love Lieutenant Henry. She's such an incredible public servant. For those of us who know her, and her attention to detail is amazing. And I think on the memo, I saw that this may have been a topic that she brought to your attention. And
Yes.
I'm so thankful to her. And I will tell you, I don't know the number of massage parlors that we have. I'm interested to know how many we have, but I will tell you, this has been something that's been on my back burner list for quite a while now. There are times where I will drive down the street and these massage parlors that I don't really see a whole lot of foot traffic, and it's like 1, 2 a.m. and their sign says open. And out of curiosity, oftentimes I wanted to walk in to see, one, first and foremost, if they're open, and two, what's going on at 1 or 2 a.m. at a massage parlor. And so I'm just glad that she's paying attention to that. And I also noticed that 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock was the closing time.
I was going to
as of
say,
now.
one of the things she did do was update our hours of operation so that they do close a little bit earlier now.
Okay, awesome. And so if we do notice one operating after those hours, do we pick up the phone and call the police department?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't know off the top of your head how many we have?
I do not, in fact, I was looking back at, Greg, how many, 5?
5
We have
of them in
5.
totality. Okay, good deal. Thank you guys so much for making the updates to that. And thank you, Lieutenant Henry, please.
Mr. Mage, do we have any idea, and maybe this is inappropriate thinking on my part, but how many of these 5 are legitimate businesses that actually offer what most human beings would consider a legal massage?
Actually, I can answer that. And all 5 of them, prior to us enacting this ordinance several years ago, none of them were appropriate, and several of them were involved in human trafficking,
Yeah.
which forced us into establishing the ordinance and shutting them down and inspecting them and going through this. And now this is just a revised issue. Yeah, they were a den of issues, and we were starting to see them, so we took action.
Well, and they just look
But
suspicious.
I hope that answered your question, Mr. Thompson.
Well, it does, but I mean, I'm just wondering if these new rules or the stricter enforcement of the existing rules, does that hold any expectation of removing these businesses from our fair city?
Removing the businesses from our fair city, no. I mean, I don't believe, I'm going to have our police chief come down and respond to that if that's okay with the city council. He would know better than I would.
I do want to note, though, to Councilman Thompson's question, I did notice in the ordinance that we are requiring that they provide licensure, so that not anybody can just pop up and say, I'm a massage parlor, but that they're actually licensed through the state.
Including the therapists.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Are any of these places legitimate, and do we have to have them in our town?
So, they are legitimate businesses, and we do compliance checks with them from time to time. When violations come up, we address them with the new ordinance. We'll be able to address them a little, with more rules and regulations on them about their, times of operation and whatnot. Typically, it is either a county charge or a city ticket, and then that there's not a lot of recourse after that. So,
Okay, thank you.
Any other
Move to
questions of the
approve.
chief from Mr. Mage?
Sorry. Well, if there are any questions, proceed. No second yet.
I do have a motion. Do I have a second? All in
Thank you,
favor,
Chief.
indicate by
Thank you,
saying aye.
Lieutenant.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We now move into new business public discussion. We do have one person who signed up to address the council. I will tell you that if you do address council, since it is not an agenda item, we cannot engage in a back and forth conversation. But if you do bring information to us, we can consider it for a further agenda item later on in the year. So, Mrs. Chappell, are you still here? And I will remind everybody that you have 4 minutes to to address council, and please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Kyla Chappell. I live at 1104 South Holly Lane. I'm here to address my utility statement. So my average bill that I pay is $65.68. I did a little research on the average water bill in just the United States in totality, and it was $337.60 on average per year per household. And if I'm doing my calculations right, with me paying $65.68 a month, I am paying about $788, which is way over the amount of the average per year per household. So I'm wondering why these extra fees on here, they continue to go up. And a lot of the times on my street, these things are not that great. Like my street light, I don't remember it always being on, but I know for sure that it does flicker sometimes, so I know that that could be better. My stormwater fee and the drainage fee, I know that they kind of coincide, so I'm wondering if that's a double charge on my bill. As far as the sewer service fee, I can hardly remember anyone coming out there working on the sewer. My neighbor actually just had their whole pipeline done in their backyard because they had sewer issues. And I was told that the water bill continuously increases every May, and I don't want to have to continue to pay these charges if nothing is being done about the betterment of these things in my neighborhood.
Thank you, Ms. Chappell.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Does anyone else have anything to bring before the council? Please step to the podium, please. And state your name and address.
My name is Samantha Key, and my address is 9117 Orchard Boulevard. I've just brought some pictures of the flooding issues that we're having. I've spoke with multiple people about this, and I just want to somehow bring awareness. I went to the HOA yesterday. I'm trying to bring awareness to the uphill neighbors from me on Orange Street in some way without having to file 3 civil suits regarding the fact that I have not only my own drainage to maintain, in which in 2011 my mother put a French drain in because we had standing water at the back of our house. The retaining wall that we have is failing. I've had multiple engineers look at it. They say it's not repairable or reinforceable. There could be a solution to fix it and take all the people that have created, for instance, on the west side of the wall, there, and I have pictures of this and I also have videos. One of the engineers says that uphill neighbor took their entire gutter system and is draining it on the property. And it's just flooding the property everywhere. So we have our water going to the street through a French drain, but everybody else is just dumping their stormwater. And then the wall itself is not repairable. So it's been a very frustrating couple months. I've dealt with insurance. I've spoke with city members. And so it's just something that I wanted to bring attention to because people on my street get in trouble for the dirt and the soil erosion, but nobody is bringing accountability to the uphill people for the maintenance of the walls. And I'm having a survey done because according to the satellite, it doesn't even show that the wall is my property. So till I get the survey, I won't even know that. But even if it is on my property, the dead men go almost to the foundation under me, and when that wall falls, which I've had one engineer say I'll be lucky to make it through one rain season. I've had one say maybe it'll last two. It would cause a landfall, and it would not retain the soil of the house that's only 7 feet from it. Well, there's actually 2. So,
Are those, I can't engage in a conversation with you, but
Sure.
could you give those pictures to Mr. Mage?
Sure.
And we've got your address.
thank you.
What's your address again?
It's 9117 Orchard Boulevard. Yes, and I know the 3 people to my east, they don't have enough space, so they're just completely flooding.
Okay.
And they have tried to reinforce the walls by like a fence and objects, and it's not done anything, but they're flooding.
Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead.
Just so everyone knows, I handed this out to everybody right before the start of city council meeting. This is a comprehensive look at all of our committees, boards, and commissions that we have. Unfortunately, our city manager's asked me to give you a homework assignment, which is to review and read all of this. There are a couple of summaries that are in here. One looks like this, which summarizes about everything in here, and then one is a memo that I did, which is in the overview, which goes into a little bit more depth, and then you have a lot of depth here. We're going to look at I think you received an email from the mayor. We're going to look at all of our commissions and committees and boards that we have. The first meeting in January, and it'll be the only agenda item for the city council. And this is what, I'm hoping this is what we'll be working from. And then we can take a look at all of those and see what we want to do. But we wanted to give you all this information. And I wanted to let you know that most of this information was compiled by Jill before she left and prepared this book. And then Mylena from my office and staff from Sarah's office worked diligently to get this put together for you all, and did yeoman's work over the last couple of weeks to get this all put together. So that's what we're looking forward to, the first meeting in January.
Thank you, Mr. Mage. I now close the new business public discussion. There's no other further information to come before the council. I consider us adjourned. I call to order the Midwest City Municipal Authority. We have a consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda so that the trustees, by unanimous consent, can approve and routine agenda items by one motion. If any trustee requests to discuss an item, or as there is not unanimous consent, then the item will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Discussion item number 1, Mr. Lyon.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action of amendment number 4 for professional services with Freeze Nichols, Inc. in the amount of $49,200 to provide services to further the assessment of our current sanitary sewer system. This is the same
Same item as.
item that we had on
To
the city
approve.
council.
Move to approve.
I thought that's what you said.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Item number 2.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action of awarding the bid to and entering into a contract with 4M Trenching Company for $671,165 and 210 calendar days, and authorizing the chairman to execute the contract for the Northeast 23rd and Midwest Boulevard Sanitary Sewer Project. Mr.
Yes.
Bundy.
This is a project we've been working on for some time. This is funded by ARPA money, and it's going to extend a sewer from Skip up to the corner of 23rd and Midwest and Ward 5. This is to help with economic development, and we do have plans for a future phase when funding is available to extend it further. There's kind of a gap in sewer service in that area, so this will definitely help that corner at 23rd and Midwest, and we hope it helps that corridor altogether in the city. So
Any questions of Mr. Bundy? Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
A motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We now move into new business public discussion. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority? Hearing or seeing none, I call us adjourned, and I call to order the Midwest City Hospital Authority. We do have a consent agenda. These items are placed on consent agendas. Trustees, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any trustee requests to discuss an item or unanimous consent cannot be received, then the items will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. No action is required on item number 1, discussion item. We now move into new business public discussion. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority? Hearing or seeing none, we are hereby adjourned, and I call to order the Special Economic Development Authority. We once again have a consent agenda. These items are placed on consent agenda. Trustees, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any trustee requests to discuss an item or unanimous consent cannot be received, then the item will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Discussion item number 1, Mr. Lyons.
Discussion, consideration, of possible action awarding the bid to and entering into a contract with 4M Trenching Company for $671,165, 210 calendar days, and authorizing the chairman to execute the contract for Northeast 23rd and Midwest Boulevard sanitary sewer project, as we just discussed.
This same item.
Yeah.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. And item number 2, Mr. Lyons.
Discussion, consideration of possible action rejecting the bid received for the Sooner Row Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. Mr. Bundy.
This is also a ARPA project that we've been working on diligently. Unfortunately, we only got one bidder, and it was extremely over our engineer's estimate, which is unfortunate. So we are scrambling. We are going to put that out to bid again, and you'll see that back in December.
Any questions, Mr. Bundy? I
It
have a
did,
motion.
I had one question. It looked like this, it was the steel in the bid that was primarily the most out of line. Is it
Yes.
the cost of steel piping and casing going up universally, or is it just this specialty steel?
Well, they wrap it. It's a lot of it is the boring itself, and so they kind of wrap that into other pay items. The construction method that we chose for this project is because it's around the hospitality district, and so there's a lot of other utilities in there. Traditionally, with sewer, we just open the trench and put the sewer pipe in, but because of all those utilities and parking lots and these other things, we're boring it, so they're going to dig a hole and shoot a hole under all those utilities. We're also going to shrink the scope a little bit. We wanted more than we could afford, and so we're going to do the most critical parts, and so that's the answer.
All right, well, I make a motion to approve.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We now
Mr. Mayor.
move into new
Mr.
business public
We
discussion.
can do this under new business. Go ahead, Brandon.
Mr. Mayor, I do want to say that today is my last council meeting with Midwest City, and yesterday I turned in my resignation. I love this city. I love these people. These department heads back here are all-stars. So I ask that you treat them nice. They're great. This is my community. This is where I'm raising my kids. So I want them to succeed. I want you all to succeed. I want us to succeed together. I just got an opportunity with the city of Oklahoma City that I couldn't turn down. It's an opportunity that for my family, for me, and I really appreciate everything you guys have done. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bundy.
You're going to be missed dearly, Mr. Bundy. Thank you for your service.
You sure you won't reconsider? You sure you won't reconsider? No. Okay. We now move into new business public discussion. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority other than resignations? Hearing or seeing none, we're hereby adjourned. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our council
Before
meeting.
we adjourn, can we give a round of applause on a belated Veterans Day? I know we have 2 veterans on here on the Horseshoe, and I don't know how many employees we have. If you are a former veteran, please stand up, or a current veteran or active duty, please stand up. Let's please give you all a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service
Thank
and
you.
sacrifice.
We're done. Y'all have a good night.